it's Joanna from Nesting Story, and today I thought I would actually give you like a health update. I've been talking about this a ton on Instagram, and there's many of you who've been asking for an update about my digestive health and my recent diagnosis of Sibo. So I just thought, you know, I should make a video here because I think a lot of people, well, I know a lot of people deal with digestive issues and trying to find answers. So I thought I'd chat with you here and tell you kind of like where I am with all of that. As I mentioned in last week's video, you saw that we are like crawling to the finish with school. When I'm filming this video, tomorrow's their last like half day and then they're done. Same thing, still crawling to the finish. So hence the sit down video instead of some decluttering stuff, which will come, don't worry about it. Okay, so rewind back to, I think when I was a teenager and I had my thyroid diagnosis. So I had really bad digestive issues. And when I say digestive issues, for me, it just like goes through me. Like I don't get constipated. It does the other thing. So I was starting to have these digestive issues and stomach pains and bloating. And that was around when I was diagnosed with extreme hyperthyroidism, and then had a nodule and had to have a complete thyroidectomy, had to have my thyroid removed and 2 parathyroid glands removed. So that was around age 19, and I'm 36 now. So that's when that all started, and it kind of stopped and started, and things would work at different times, like probiotics, betaine pills, I believe they're called. That would kind of help, but then after having kids and as I got older, I was finding it was getting worse and worse. So then, when was it? A couple years back, it was like August. If you've been watching for a while, you'll remember I had diverticulitis, which is like an infection. There's outpouchings, and I had it in the transverse colon, which is really, really uncommon. But it actually, the general surgeon who I saw at the time, he said it's actually really common in younger people, because this is like a very common thing to happen to people who are much older, like in their 80s and stuff. But yeah, so I got an infection and I had to take antibiotics, and it's never flared up again. I haven't had another bout of diverticulitis. And I'm really thankful, because a lot of people have that reoccurring and then have to have surgery. So I'm really thankful about that. And there's a lot of talk about what kinds of foods could trigger it. I personally believe I had too much red meat and fried food at the time, and I really try to stay away from that. And anytime I start kind of having more and more of that kind of thing, and I get those little pangs of pain in my stomach, I just stop and clean up my diet. I eat fairly clean. So that happened, and then I had a colonoscopy to check everything was fine. There was no more diverticuli, which is the pouches without the infection. So I was all good. So then my digestive issues increased and increased. I started to become more sensitive to more foods like garlic and onion and Brussels sprouts. Different things would either make food go right through me and I'd have like a big flare up, or I get really bloated and it'd just be really painful. So I was really careful about that. I also learned that I could not digest dairy, and I just can't have dairy anymore. I'm pretty sure I'm lactose intolerant. So a lot of different foods were not agreeing with me. So then what did I do? So next then I started to embrace the Low Fodmap Diet, and that was really helpful. And it is still really helpful, which is like, you'd have to look up the acronym, but it's like fructose and things like that can be really hard on my stomach. And so I just really stick with certain types of food to avoid a flare-up. And but then again, I was starting to find that even more and more foods were setting it off. So I was like, enough is enough. I've got to figure this out more. So I went back to my doctor. She sent me to a gastroenterologist, and the gastroenterologist didn't know what it was, and she did a colonoscopy, and did she also do an endoscopy? I can't remember. Anyways, they checked me. No, I don't think it was an endoscopy. No, they did. They did both. And she checked me, and she couldn't find anything. She's like, you have IBS, IBSD, D for diarrhea. And that's just what I have. And there was no diverticulitis or outpouching or anything like that. So she's like, we'll do a follow-up. And I said, well, Low Fodmap's kind of working for me. She's like, great, stick with that. So we're trying to find answers. I went to see a naturopath, because my other issue was I was finding that my energy levels were dipping like crazy. Like basically during my cycle, during my PMS phase, it was like I would get full body aches and flu-like symptoms and just get so tired. Like I couldn't function for a whole, and it last like 10 days. It was really bad. So I started research on my own, and it looked like my progesterone was also just dipping. I had a suspicion. And I also knew from blood tests with my regular doctor that I would often go low with my iron. My iron would just dip and bottom out. So I went to see a naturopath, and this was now, like a while ago, maybe like a month or something ago, maybe even longer than that. And I saw her and I told her all my problems, and right away she's like, I think you have Sibo, and which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And she said, I think that you're, because you have so many digestive issues, it's causing things like your body's just not absorbing nutrients, and that's probably causing your progesterone to dip. So she had me do a Sibo test, which is a breath test. Now, Sibo is kind of a controversial thing. It's not recognized by everyone as a thing because most people test positive for it or something like that, but also not everybody gets the test, and it's not cheap. I had to pay for that one and have it like shipped out from BC and everything. Anyways, it's a breath test. I did that, and then she had me also do blood work 2 days, day 3 of my cycle and day 21 of my cycle. So I follow up with my doctor after she's got all the test results, and when I go in, she says, you have tested positive for Sibo, the hydrogen kind, which makes sense because that would cause diarrhea. And not only is my progesterone low, but my estrogen is low. So these are all things that we need to figure out. And she said, are you hoping to have more kids? And I was like, I have 4 children. I ended with twins. I'm good. We've closed that door. Husband's had a vasectomy. We're good. So she's like, okay, we're not gonna worry about the estrogen right now. So we decided that we would try the natural route to treat the Sibo, and basically, which I'll show you in a second, put me on a whole bunch of supplements, kind of flare up the Sibo, and then wipe it out with these supplements, and also do liver support at the same time. And she said, but go see your GI doctor, because there is also a prescription you can try. It doesn't work for everybody, but that may be a backup if this doesn't work for you. I said, okay, I'll do anything. So she sent me on my way. I went and found all of these supplements, which I'll show you right now. I've got it right here. It's like, I've got like my pill bin here. It's a lot, guys. And I'm gonna read out. I made my own chart to figure out, to stay on track with everything, and read it all to you because it's crazy. And truthfully, there's a couple of things I haven't been able to keep up with, and I'll tell you what I've recently done because I had some pretty bad side effects. So I would take, so for my progesterone, I'm taking chest tree. For my stomach, to kind of like help cut out the Sibo, I'm taking berberine, and I'm taking oregano. And because it's hard on my liver, I'm to drink lemon water and do castor oil on my right rib with a heating pad. And then this is on top of like my iron and my vitamin D and stuff I take, my Synthroid. And then I was taking NAC and Livco. Okay, so let me tell you how often I had to take all these. So lemon water first thing in the morning, then I would take my Synthroid, the NAC, the 2 berberine, 2 oregano, and 1 chast tree, all with food, so with my breakfast. Then on an empty stomach, take 2 Livco. Then at lunch, take the NAC, the chast tree, vitamin D, and magnesium. So vitamin D and magnesium I already take. Then on an empty stomach, 2 more Livco. Then with dinner, NAC, berberine, 2 of them, 2 oregano, and then my iron. So I had been doing that as best as I could for almost 2 weeks. The oregano probably just over a week because it took us a little bit to get our hands on it, like Mike and I, because we had to like find these everywhere. And although I think I've actually seen improvement with the type of digestive issues I was having, I have had so many side effects. Nausea, heartburn, extreme lethargia, and like exhaustion, like my body felt like lead. and really bad stomach upset, and it was really bad, to the point where the past 3 days I was in bed. I couldn't move. Like I couldn't do anything. And it was so hard to parent, and Mike's had to work late. Like it was just not, I was prepared for some kind of, you know, stomach upset. I think it may be the oregano that's really getting to me as well. But the berberine as well apparently can give some nausea. So finally yesterday, it was so bad. I just said to Mike, I'm stopping taking these because I need like all the stuff to do with the digestive stuff. So I'm still taking my iron, and I'm still taking the chastity and all that, but anything to do with my stomach and the liver support. So I stopped them. I feel way better today, like a hint of nausea, but not like I was feeling. Like I was able to go for a quick run, workout, like I'm able to function today. I'm not in bed all the time. So I see my naturopath tomorrow, and I'm going to tell her this and see what we're going to do. Hopefully I haven't erased all the work, but I do though think I see a difference with the actual Sibo stuff, but it's so hard to tell because I felt so awful. So one last thing is I was given the prescription by my GI doctor, which my naturopath said get the prescription just in case this doesn't work. So it's rifaximin, yes. And apparently it's expensive. So it's like $300 and something. So it's not necessarily going to work, but that's kind of where I am with this journey. And I feel a little discouraged. I think actually sometimes when you feel so awful, like the last few days I felt so awful, and I was getting to the point where I was like, because it's just been stressful with the kids and stuff, I was feeling really low. So to be on the other side and actually have some relief today, I feel positive because I just felt so terrible. But I don't know where this journey is going to take me. I found myself following a lot of digestive health accounts on Instagram and everything, and I've been really like, make sure you follow me on Instagram because I've been updating this journey a lot. But truthfully, I don't know where it's going to take me, so I will update you after my naturopath appointment. It is now Friday, and I just got back from my appointment with my naturopath, and all was good. She was like, why didn't you email me when you were feeling sick? And I had to admit that our kids have been super sick, and it's just been one of those weeks, and I don't know, I should have done that. Anyways, so I told her how I had stopped all of the supplements that were helping with the Sibo. So she had a couple ideas of what could have been the problem, and she thought it was a great idea for me to stop and just kind of reassess what we were gonna do. So after talking for a while and telling her, you know, I got this prescription from as well, so that's an option, we've decided that because next week all my kids are home, first week of summer, and then they go to camp after that, to just take next week off, keep up with the chastity, and just take off everything else, just feel great and just do what I can, you know, next week. After that, start the liver support again and do the prescription. Both she and my GI doctor think I'm a great candidate for that. It does not always work, but they think I'm a great candidate for that. So I'm gonna do that. I'm going to take the prescription plus the liver support in just over a week. We're gonna start that and see how it goes. Hey guys, okay, so I was just about to edit this video for you, but I thought I need to add a new ending. I had already ended it, but there's kind of a new chapter to this. So this is my week that I'm giving my body a break from any kind of supplements or medication or anything. And I've noticed that my symptoms are actually not that bad for my Sibo. So I've had some bloating, but I haven't had any other symptoms. So I may hold off on anything for a while and just see how this goes for a bit instead of messing with my system again. I do think that those supplements, even though I didn't take them, I took them for almost 2 weeks, I think they did work some magic on me. I do feel like something got a bit sorted. I'm sure it won't be a permanent fix, but right now it's like nobody move, nobody breathe. I feel relief. So just wanted to give you that update. I'm also noticing a difference with the chastity, and I feel more like normal. So I'm hopeful. I wanted to end this video on I'm hopeful, and I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if any of this is stuff you're dealing with, if I've helped give you any kind of answers, or maybe just inspired you to kind of be your own health advocate and try to figure something out that you've been dealing with for a while. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.